I studied in a small school that had only one medical room. It was an old storage room changed into a sick room, and everyone said it was haunted. Teachers never believed it, but every student in my batch had at least one creepy experience there. My experience happened in class 9. One day during lunch break, I started feeling dizzy. My class teacher told me to lie down in the sick room for a few minutes. The school nurse hadn't come that day, so the room was empty. The moment I entered, the smell of old medicine hit me. There were just 2 beds and a big old wooden cupboard at the corner. I lay down on the bed closest to the door. For the first few minutes, everything was normal. Then I heard someone breathe behind me. It wasn't the sound of wind. It was slow, deep breathing, like someone standing very close. I sat up and looked behind. No one. I thought it was just my imagination, so I lay down again. Then I heard it again, this time sharper. A long exhale right next to my ear. I jumped up, again no one. I stepped toward the door, but suddenly I heard the cupboard creak. It opened just an inch. Very slowly I froze. Then I saw a hand. A pale hand, small like a child's, slowly pulling the cupboard door open from inside. The hand stopped as if it knew I was staring. I ran out of the room, straight to my classmates. When I brought them back, the cupboard was closed. A few days later, I asked an old peon about the sick room. He told me something I still can't forget. 10 years earlier, a girl in class 5 fainted during assembly. They kept her in that same room until the ambulance arrived. She wasn't breathing by the time help came. After that, many students complained of hearing breathing and knocking from the cupboard. They moved the cupboard many times, but every time they tried to throw it away, someone would fall sick the same day. Now no one opens it. And I still remember that pale hand, because it was smaller than any adult but too long and thin to belong to a normal child. My school had evening coaching classes that ended around 6 or 6:30 p.m. By that time, the main building would be almost empty except for a few teachers. One evening in winter, my friend and I stayed late to finish our project. We were in class 10 and our classroom was on the top floor. While packing our bags, we heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, heavy footsteps. We assumed it was maybe a teacher locking rooms, but the steps continued for too long, walking back and forth. My friend joked, maybe it's some peon, bro chill. When we stepped out, the hallway was empty, completely empty. We started walking toward the stairs, but suddenly the classroom door behind us slammed shut. Hard, like someone kicked it. We ran back and opened the door, thinking maybe air pressure caused it, but the windows inside the room were all closed. That's when we saw something that made both of us freeze. All the chairs were facing the blackboard, except one. One chair was turned toward the door and as if someone had been watching us. My friend whispered, "You turned this chair, right?" I said no. He didn't believe me. Then the tube light flickered. The whole room flashed twice, and we saw a tall shadow standing near the last bench. The light stabilized and the shadow was gone. We grabbed our bags and ran to the staircase. Just when we reached the ground floor, we heard loud footsteps running behind us, not walking, running. We didn't stop until we reached the school gate. The security guard looked confused. When we told him what happened, he didn't act surprised. He only said one sentence. "You kids should never stay on the top floor after sunset." That floor was closed for years. The school reopened it only recently. But whatever stayed there for all those years, it never left. My friend never stayed after 5 p.m. again. And whenever I think of that one chair staring at us, I still get chills.